Air Automotive Magazine with co-hosts Fred Staub and Les Jackson.
Control.
Everything you need to know about new and used cars.
Control.
Industry news. We'll fix or repair your car on the air.
Control.
Fasten your seatbelts and let us take the wheel. Now, your ride is about to begin.
Control.
Because you're on cruise control. Cruise control. Cruise control.
Yes, indeed. Welcome to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. It's Saturday, and that means it's live. We're live. I'm Les Jackson. The other guy sitting over there is Fred Staub. He will actually speak momentarily, but we want to welcome you to our usual lineup of just always changing stories in the automotive industry. Also, an At the Wheel review, and let's get started.
Yeah, Les, we're starting off with kind of a, I'm going to annoy you now because you love jargon, a 30,000-foot view of the automotive world.
Yes.
Yeah. I know you love those things. Well, one automotive executive says overall new vehicle prices are way out of hand, and he's got a way to fix them. And we'll kick it around if we think it's a good idea, right?
Well, any idea that lowers prices is a good idea, unless it doesn't work. But anyway, Jeep freshens its Cherokee lineup. May have plans for a powerful and efficient new engine, too. They always slip in new engines.
They do. Apparently that one's going to premiere at the New York Auto Show, so we'll tell you about that. And then we are going to ask a question: what's the future of the Subaru WRX STI? It may not have a future. So we'll tell you about that. And of course, they do still sell the WRX, which is a lot of fun, but you're going to pay significant amounts of money for that.
It is not inexpensive. But it is a lot of fun.
And then I'm going to have an at-the-wheel review of the Hyundai Santa Cruz. If you like the Tucson, well, this is a Tucson with a pickup truck bed in the back. It's going to take on the likes of the Honda Ridgeline and some others. And it seems like this segment is heating up. It's pretty interesting, and I think it was a great idea from the folks over at Hyundai to play in this market and kind of modify one of their vehicles. And we'll tell you all about it because I liked it. I actually have to say I overall like the vehicle, and it has to be for you. You know, probably most people would be better off with a regular SUV, and I'm sure they'll sell more of those, but the Santa Cruz is an interesting vehicle. You and I talked about them, Hyundai getting into the pickup truck business for a long time. Yep. They had all kind of concepts, and they finally did it.
I really liked driving it back in the fall. I just was very pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about that and more on Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. I'm Fred Staub. He is Les Jackson. When we come back, we'll jump into that executive saying cars are just too expensive. What are you going to do about it? What is he going to do about it? We'll tell you on Cruise Control.
Cruise Control.
Welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. If you've been listening to the show, you know Les and I have been talking about the average price of vehicles now screaming up to $47,000 per vehicle, average price. You could still get stuff a lot cheaper, but tell you what, you go in now to a dealer and with all the factors considered, you probably will be looking at something just south of $50,000. Hard to believe,
Yeah.
Les. I mean, it seems like it jumped very quickly up to that kind of number. We say that if people have not been to a dealer in a long time, and maybe they have a 10-year-old vehicle or something, and they're looking at buying a new vehicle, they're going to walk into a nightmare, aren't they?
I've said this a number of times. For decades and decades and decades, the average transaction price of a typical middle-of-the-road new vehicle has represented 22 to 24 weeks of household income.
Right.
For the average household. Now it's over 40 weeks.
Wow.
So it's just crazy.
Yeah, it's just crazy, and with market adjustments, sometimes totaling $25,000 or more. We're going to tell you one story about the Hummer EV later that will really make you scratch your head why anyone would want to pay that much of a markup. But so with the prices up that high, Stellantis CEO Carlos Tavares, of course, Stellantis is Chrysler and Dodge and Fiat
Alpha.
and Alpha. We say that because I don't think that name is really punched hard in the brand.
It doesn't resonate with a lot of people.
No, it doesn't resonate with a lot of people. I say Stellantis, and they're like, what's that? So this is an article in the Detroit Bureau. Tavares said he made it clear it is a problem that the price has got out of hand. And he said there are certain factors like semiconductor chip shortage and made it a buyer's market. But overall, he feels that it is out of hand, that they should not be that expensive. So what he's doing is he's kind of doing a bit of decontenting. In other words, there will be things like smaller screens, eliminating some standard features. But the problem is, by doing that, I think a lot of people want, it's not that big a difference. It's a few $1,000s.
Right.
I would like, if I'm going to keep the vehicle for a long time, a heated steering wheel, heated seats, a better screen. So his view is to kind of decontent them a little bit, and he draws on the Ford Maverick, which he says it begins at under $20,000, thanks to keeping things simple like crank windows and overall back to basic approach features. I don't know. Is decontenting the way to go here? I never liked that.
Well, I don't believe decontenting will really work because we live in a very spoiled society.
Yeah.
And people, once they're used to what they have, will say, no, I won't buy that.
Well, you know what my steering wheel heater is in my vehicle?
Gloves?
Gloves. That's it. Yes, the steering wheel is cold. Yes, I have a pair of $10 gloves.
Well, I mean, what I have to say about my very base level Mazda is, you have a steering wheel?
By the way, we are going to do a story later about the federal government, NHTSA, saying that you don't need to have a steering wheel in cars anymore.
Well, that's wonderful news.
Well, for autonomous cars, in other words.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So the idea, what else can they do? I think one way to do it is somehow sell stuff for MSRP, and
Yeah.
get away from just basically, in some cases, the price of another car being tacked onto your original car. especially cars that are designated like the Ioniq 5, that's designated as an inexpensive electric entry-level vehicle. Just to mark that up, I think they had it marked up well over $50,000, and that's crazy, So I don't think decontenting is going to work. Maybe just the opposite. Look what Kia and Hyundai have done. Almost every vehicle is equipped with all of that stuff, and economy of scale. I mean, it probably costs you more now to make crank windows than it does to have electric windows. So, hey, when we come back, we're going to tell you about Jeep freshening up their lineup and a whole lot more. So stay tuned to Cruise Control. We'll be right back.
Cruise Control.
Welcome back to Cruise Control. We are rolling through interesting story here, Fred, that Volkswagen is, they always do tricky little things.
Tricky little things. Tricky.
You teased it a little earlier. They're working on hidden emblems that show up when they get warm.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how this would be used, but it's interesting that, let's say you had a car with none of these where it was cool, you wouldn't see it, and then as you drive, things get revealed on your cars as it gets hot.
Right.
I'm not quite sure. This was a patent discovered by CarBuzz, where they have their person in the office. It was in the German Patent and Trademark Office. They use a flat surface and a heat source, which could be the engine, and then a design appears in the paint. I don't know. I'm not quite sure.
I equate this to sort of an automotive mood ring.
Yeah, remember those? That's funny.
That's right. But we're showing a picture of a looks like a Jetta with VW logos that appear on the hood, and I don't want that on my hood.
No.
It's cute, and it would impress the people at the drive-in Friday night cruise, but no thanks.
Well, maybe if you could do the color changing thing like BMW showed, where as your car starts out blue and then as you drive it, it gets red. I don't know. I just think this is technology that, yeah, it's interesting, but I don't see how you would use it.
It's interesting. Now, what would be nice would be if they would appear and you could write messages.
Well, I think the cooler
like
thing
speed up
would be a wrap that is an actual video screen, and that they do make very thin material that can project video. So imagine that your stripe is now moving video or a moving graphic of some kind.
Well, but you're treading on safety issues, because if it becomes an attractive nuisance, then you make people distracted.
Yeah, you can't be watching your favorite reality show projected on the back of someone's car as you're going down the.
Yeah.
They do, though. There was a law that they talked about, and it hasn't quite happened yet. I believe Samsung was going to do this, where big trucks would have to have a video monitor of some kind or screen on the back to show what's happening up front. Like, hey, is the light changing? Will I be able to make it through this light, or is it yellow and this truck's going through? That's one of the most annoying things when driving behind a big truck. Don't you agree?
Oh, absolutely. That's why I always try to get around them. It's very dangerous sitting behind one. I like that idea. It would be expensive. They'd have to clean it often.
Yeah, but
I can see where the trucking people wouldn't want to do that.
Let's talk about a couple of stories here about how the war is affecting things, or may affect you here. An interesting article in CarBuzz that the price of the precious metals used in catalytic converters is going sky high. This actually is according to the Drive. Palladium, and Russia's the biggest exporter of that, so they can't get it. So there's some talk that people may really up stealing catalytic converters because that has that in it. So we could potentially see more of that happening. Something to watch out for. I mean, you can't live outside with your vehicle. Certain people do make cages to put around them.
No. There are going to be some effects, some cause and effect of this war we don't even know about yet.
Mm-hmm.
With things like this, materials, because if Russia has all those materials and they don't want to sell them to you, then you're going to have to work out a deal with the Chinese to buy them and then buy them from that. But they're going to end up costing much more money.
Yeah, there's a lot of precious metals that come from Russia that won't be available that are used in auto production.
We used to buy all of our titanium from Russia.
Okay. But we don't.
Well, we've sourced it. I'll check where, but we've sourced other places for it.
You know what else comes from Ukraine is neon, believe it or not. Neon.
Yeah.
Ukraine
neon,
is one of the biggest neon producers.
And uranium.
We know about that.
Yeah.
From the issues of that going on. So it may spark, there was one article that I found in prepping the show. They say it may spark another microchip shortage.
It could.
Because neon is used in making microchips. So noble gases, they call it fractional
that's right.
distillation.
Neon, argon, xenon, krypton.
So it's interesting how we're all interrelated here.
Well, we are, and we got to keep that in mind.
Yeah. So let's talk about this ruling. The federal government approves cars without steering wheels in America. Now that might sound silly to you, but the NHTSA, National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration, has come up with a rule to update occupant safety so it covers cars that have been assembled without traditional controls if the manufacturer opted to omit it from a design because it believes autonomous features may make it unnecessary. Now, they were saying that you would have like a fold-away steering wheel or something that would slip under the dash or whatever. We're not at this part. They're just staying ahead of it, aren't they?
Well, you have to, because otherwise it takes years for rulings to be done. So I'm all for NHTSA doing this. It is not, it's not, there will not be a no steering wheel car on the roads anytime soon.
Yeah. What's your estimate for full autonomy?
I'm still holding to 2030.
I also think, too, people are going to focus more on developing electric cars.
Yeah.
And there'll be a higher level of autonomy, things like Super Cruise and Blue Cruise and whatever.
I would, and I am hoping to volunteer, and don't laugh, for a steering committee.
I will laugh because that's
on
funny.
on this very subject.
Yeah, yeah, interesting.
But it's just it's not going to happen soon.
Yeah.
Because it can't. There's too much technology that needs to come in first.
Well, talking about technology, there's some new news for Toyota. The Mirai, which, yes, is their coupe, a premium rear-wheel drive platform coupe, an EPA estimated range of 402 miles. And when you buy this, since it is a fuel cell vehicle and is powered on hydrogen, you get up to $15,000 of hydrogen fuel included with your purchase or lease. And you can purchase it, which is interesting, right?
Absolutely. I'll send you I have a picture of me in the first Mirai from 4 years ago.
Wow. Very cool. And that is a good range. Of course, Toyota is in the forefront of fuel cell development and hydrogen power. They feel that there's still plenty of, potential in creating this. What do you? I definitely think we shouldn't become too focused on only an electric future. We should look at some other options out like
Well,
this.
yes, just like energy sources, just like food sources, we there is there is just simply not going to be one and only one solution.
Yeah.
So get the most a combination of really efficient technologies. That's the best way to go.
You know, it's interesting too. When the Mirai came out, it was very expensive. They only allowed you to
Mhm.
lease it. Now, the XLE grade starts at 49,500. Not that much higher than the average vehicle.
That's
So
well,
go
very
figure.
close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, when we come back, we're going to have an at the wheel review of the Hyundai Santa Cruz. So stay tuned to Cruise Control, your on air automotive magazine. We'll be right back.
Cruise Control.
And welcome back to Cruise Control, your on-air automotive magazine. Good to be back with you. And we have an at-the-wheel review, Les Jackson. Hyundai, I had the Hyundai Tucson not that long ago, which I thought was a really nice, I believe I had the plug-in hybrid or the hybrid model. And I thought that was a pretty nice vehicle. I really did. Have you driven it?
The Santa Cruz
Or the
yes,
Tucson, the Tucson.
No, I haven't been in the Tucson recently.
Yeah, I had the plug-in hybrid version of it, and I was pretty impressed with it. I like the clean styling on the inside, and the overall styling on the outside was a little bit like origami. I would call it sheet metal origami.
Interesting description.
Yeah, there's a lot of styling in the sides of the vehicle. But manufacturers always like to use a vehicle design and get to something a little bit different. And what we have today is an at-the-wheel review of the Santa Cruz, which is basically the Tucson, but out back, instead of a traditional covered SUV, we have a very unique bed in the back of it that is very functional. It has a tambrel door, which you can, or tonneau cover, which rolls up into a very nice small package. And underneath, just like the Honda Ridgeline, underneath the bed, they have a lockable storage area. And it is a little bit smaller and a little bit shallower than the Honda Ridgeline, but it also does have a drain in it. So if you want to fill it with your favorite beverage and ice, you can do that. And there's even a release for the lid in case you're a very small person and can fit in that space and release it. That's a federal law. You do have the drain, so you can fill it with ice and drain the water out, which is pretty interesting. And it is lockable. There's some storage on the side. There's a 110 outlet, which is really handy to have in the back of your bed. And then there's also a neat movable tie-down system. So it's a very useful bed. It's a very short bed. It's smaller than the Ridgeline and, of course, smaller than the Maverick and other small pickups. This vehicle is truly like the modern equivalent of an El Camino. And to pull that rotating cover back, they give you a strap, but the strap wasn't long enough, so I had to kind of go around the side and go back and pull it. But you just pull it, it locks in. You can flip a lock on the bottom, and that will disable the handle, so it's locked. You could have good locking storage, or twist it off and roll it back. On the inside, it is very much like the Hyundai Tucson. Ours even came in the same kind of color. There are two flat panel displays that handle all the instrument duties. A little bit odd thing was the mounting of the heated steering wheel and heated and cooling seats controls. They were at a weird angle. No big deal, though. Very clean interior, kind of luxurious, black with some small bits of trim. Out back, there is some unique textured moldings on the side with a little Easter egg of the vehicle showing off the little Easter egg video. There's a little window you can open in the back. They all get a 2.5 liter turbocharged engine, and ours came with the 8-speed dual clutch transmission, which did a great job. Many dual clutch transmissions are jumpy and very uncomfortable. This one shifted wonderfully. We did hear some noises underneath the vehicle when it was doing its shifting, but frankly, it was nice and smooth, no dead spots, and we enjoyed it a lot. I think it's a great-looking vehicle from the side. A little less of that sheet metal origami on the side. That they've toned down the doors, so these are unique doors. They are not shared with the Tucson. And out back, as I said, it's got that bed out back. Very useful. The front end is still that distinctive front end of the Hyundai Tucson. that you either love or dislike. I happen to like the segmented lights. I think they're pretty cool. Let's talk pricing on this, and it was not cheap. By the way, it does come with a 5-year, 60,000-mile warranty, 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, 7-year unlimited anti-perforation warranty. Ours was in Phantom Black, by the way. And so let's look at what was included. A ton of things are included because that's kind of how Hyundai does it. Virtually everything was included on this limited model, all-wheel drive model. Full safety suite with driver attention warning, blind spot collision, rear cross traffic alert. You want that on your vehicle, rear cross traffic alert. Ours had 20-inch alloy wheels with a temporary compact spare mounted under the bed, old school, Les Jackson. I had to look where it was because, as you know, I always like to look where the spare tire is located because it's a good thing to do rather than discover it
Good idea.
a little bit later, when you don't. Smart cruise control with stop and go, dual automatic, temperature control, rain sensing wipers, Hyundai digital key, did not use that, remote engine start, 10.25 digital instrument cluster, and a 10.25 navigation with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. We've got the 115-volt power inverter in the bed, a wireless charging device. See, they load it up with everything, don't they? There's not one thing
they do.
They leave off. They always put everything into these vehicles and a lot of design in that bed. The suggested retail price was $39,720. The only thing they added here was carpeted floor mats for $195. With freight and handling, it was $1,185. And then the total on that is $41,100. Fuel economy for a somewhat heavy vehicle is not that bad. We are looking at 19 city, which is actually not that great, but 27 on the highway, which is not all that bad.
Not bad.
So a combined number of 22. This has not been crash tested yet, and so we don't have any stars information on this. But it is built in Montgomery, Alabama, and the engine, the country of origin for the engine and transmission is USA. I have to once again say that this transmission has done a great job. They do a great job with this. I've driven many dual clutch transmissions that are just terrible, and I almost feel like there's no acceleration and then it catches. While I did hear some shifting going on underneath and it sounded like linkages moving, this thing always offered great performance. And I was pretty pleased driving it. I really was. I thought it was a unique take on it. Will a lot of people go for the pickup truck bed? I'm not sure. I mean, what do you think? It seems like it might be sort of a niche vehicle, but it's certainly useful.
I think, the Subaru Brat, which was very similar about 20 years ago, didn't sell well. But I think because so many people are buying pickups for commuting, I think this will go very well. Because they don't need much of a bed.
No, it is, as I say, the bed is shorter than even the Honda Ridgeline, which I think that the Ridgeline is a little bit more squared off, a little less stylish, more truck-like. And I think this vehicle is a little bit more stylish in the back. It may come at the expense of the bed. But the fact that it has all of that design in the bed, they put a lot of effort into it. I would probably get a bed extender for this to be able to carry longer things. I think that might be a good idea. But there you have it, the Hyundai Santa Cruz. They finally built the pickup truck. Hey, it's time for me to say I'm Fred Staub.
And I'm Les Jackson.
We're going to see you down the road.